has taken over. Let's go. It's Ferrall. Coast to coast. Steaks, chicks, stacks. You and I are going to make a lot of money. It's Ferrall, coast to coast.
It's Ferrall on the bench, coast to coast, in the biggest way possible, hanging out. The bad seed, the broken day, the bad apple with a bad attitude. We are live in New York City, the Big Apple. Ooh, people dressed in plastic bags, directing traffic, some kind of fashion shake-it-up should do better. Along with the Tutty and Tater King himself, the founder of the ILC podcast, the rights holder of the Sheet of Integrity, and the Put It With the Golf Guru, Carver High this afternoon, ladies. Mafia running it with Luke. I am your father. The rundown on a misery Monday. We started up with a double shot with Morency from British Columbia this very hour. Then in the final hour, we'll hook up with Smiley Kaufman from the Smiley Show talking golf, coming off the RBC and the Thomas playoff win at Hilton Head, and looking ahead to this week in golf. And then also in the final hour, a double shot with Coach James Young, our SportsGrid hoop analyst and Betting Above the Rim host. And he's on coast to coast all the time talking rack. We'll talk NBA playoffs, which are well underway now. What a weekend. Saturday and Sunday, 8 games. Carver High, what'd you think?
Yeah, quite the weekend. Happy Monday to you here on C2C as we do start another week. And man, you know, that Thomas, I sat here and bashed him last week because I was tired of losing money on Justin Thomas after another miserable performance at the Masters. Said I'm putting him on the shelf for a while. I can't keep losing money with this guy. And sure enough, he goes and wins this week. Real nice of Justin Thomas to go and do that. So no, we didn't have Justin Thomas at the RBC Heritage. Great weekend. Of course. You know what? But I saw you tweet about this a few times, and you know how I am with the NBA. Like, it's like 1 out of every 4 or 5 games that's like really compelling and really good down to the end. Most of the games are blowouts, but you did have some good ones. Clippers Nuggets was good. I thought Warriors Rockets was pretty good last night. But you got some blowouts, too, with the Thunder. I thought the Celtics was a blowout as well. I thought the Cavs was a blowout, too. I never thought the Heat could win that game. So, little mix of a few good games and a few blowouts.
Well, I couldn't believe the Knicks 21-0 run in the fourth quarter. And I thought the only good game was, I guess you could say the Rocket game was good. They got it to within 4 twice, but they still lost on their home floor to the Warriors, who seldom come out to play. Yay. And I'll say this, that I got a really bad feeling about that now, that series. They can't beat the Warriors. And they're the number 2 seed. No wonder the Warriors are favored, because they went in there in game 1 and just took them out. And they beat them. And so, I mean, I want nothing more than the Rockets to come back. But now that I've seen it with my own eyes, it's not happening. It's just not happening. They can't beat them. That's not in a series. They might beat them once, twice. They're not beating them in a series. And then the other one, the only good game at all, because they all sucked. Let's stop being nice here. They all sucked. When the lowest one was 10, except for the only game that mattered. The only game that was good was the Clippers and Nuggets overtime game. And the Clippers at the buzzer with the bad beat for some, but good for others. I had the 2 and a hook. And so I covered by the hook with the Clippers, and I did fine. You remember, I said that the T-Wolves are going to beat the Lakers. I think the Lakers are in trouble too, because they couldn't stop the Timberwolves from doing whatever they want. People said they won with threes. They won with both threes and dunks. They just went right at the rim and scored at will. It wasn't just threes. They did whatever they wanted the entire effing game.
They completely beat their ass on Saturday night. Like, Minnesota just completely beat their ass. And, you know, tomorrow night when they play game 2, that's gravy for Minnesota now. I mean, they're going back home with a win in L.A. no matter what. They could play a little, fast and loose when they play that game too. And as far as the Rockets go, I was going to bring this up to you later. They have no shot if Jalen Green's going to score 7 points and go 3 for 15 from the floor, and Thompson's going to score 8 points in the game. They got no shot if those young guys that got him here are not going to show up. They don't got any shot in a series to beat the Warriors. They need more from Green.
Oh, I thought Van Vliet and Thompson were horrendous.
Yeah, Van Vliet was bad too. He was 2 for 13 from 3. 4 for 19 from the floor. Van Vliet was awful as well.
Awful.
But they're awful, and you just can't have that. So you're right. Really, the Clipper Nugget game was really the only one that was right down edge of your seat to the end of the game, and I expect that again tonight. I think that's going to be the best series, hands down. I think Clippers Nuggets is going to be back and forth, up and down through 7 games, all the way to the end. And the hockey was kind of the same, right? Like we've only had a couple.
It was just as bad.
The hockey, you haven't had not even, obviously no overtime game yet, but you haven't even had a game that's flirted with overtime. Like it's been now the Jets.
I thought that Blues Jets 3-3 with 1:36 left they scored, and then they got the empty netter. But I thought that was a decent game. And then I think that Vegas scored with 1 second left to cover that puck line last night in Vegas. That was a 3-2 game, and they win it 4-2. But overall, all the other games were blowouts and 3-4 goal games. Every one of them. 6-2 Toronto. I tried so hard to watch that game yesterday, but I'll be honest with you, with the calls that I thought they were making, and there was about 3 of them that they made. It wasn't that many, but there were 3 big calls that led to 2 power play goals, and the game was over. I thought the refs, to be honest with you, like the second cross check, I thought was soft. I agree with the player on Ottawa was like, that is soft. It was just he just checked him into the boards. I thought that was a weak ass home milk toast call, and it led to a goal. And it was so bad. That game was so bad, like 6-2. I was watching golf, and then I was going back to the basketball games, and they were all blowouts. So I thought the sports on Sunday, on TV on Easter Sunday, was terrible. It was terrible. All the games were terrible. I had more fun when I got up at 5 a.m. to play ball and watched that the Pope had died. That was 10 times more entertaining than any game I watched this weekend. And I mean that in a positive way. Like, I was like so shocked that I saw him yesterday in the Vatican, and then he's driving around in the Pope mobile and he's kissing babies. And then by the end of the night, he's dead. I couldn't even believe my eyes. And not one game did anything for me except the money on the Clippers. The rest of the weekend was torture. The Thomas putt was good. It was worth its weight in gold. Yeah. But, like, honestly, it was a horrible weekend of sports. Well, I don't care what anybody says. Those games all suck. Playoff games should be good, not boring. The NCAA tournament kicked its ass. And that wasn't even good this year.
No. And then you even tried to escape to maybe a little baseball, and you saw the umps ruin the Yankee-Ray game.
Oh, my God. Don't get me started on the umps. Oh, my God, that home run. What in God's name were they looking at?
Apparently, it's because the minor league stadium doesn't have high enough foul poles that they couldn't judge that it was. The ball was in the trees out there beyond the.
It was 40 feet fair. It was like literally a half a block fair. And then they reviewed it and still said it was foul. It was the worst call I've ever seen in my life in baseball. Ever.
And the guy takes the no-hitter away 2 innings after the play happened.
3 innings after the guy committed the error, he changes the score to ruin a guy's no-hitter. I mean, what a lousy weekend. Let's stop being nice here.
Wasn't great at all. We'll go through it. We got stuff tonight, though. Tonight's a new night. We got a lot to do this evening.
I'm scared to death to watch.
anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're gonna go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's gonna help me get the job done. There is not gonna be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Their head coach has experience making deep playoff runs in Ime Udoka, and they have a point guard in Fred VanVleet that's 1A type. So they're not completely foreign to all of this. If you're leaning either way, take the over 5.5 games, or for a little bit more money, plus 1.5 games for the Houston Rockets. It will go at least 6.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
You can catch Sports Rage every night at 10 East on SportsGrid TV, SportsGrid Radio, all of our outlets on Monday through Friday night. Anyway, we get him every day on Coast to Coast. Thank God for that, from Vancouver with a double shot. I want to start with this. I guess Nico had a press conference, or it's going on right now, or something like that. And two things happened in that. One, he said he didn't, in not so many words, he didn't understand how important Luka was to their fan base. And two, he said, in not so many words, I think I've done a really good job as the GM of the Mavericks. And three, I want to eat a 9 block. Honestly, I cannot even believe this guy. What world is he living in? What bubble is this guy living in that he thinks he's done a great job, or that he doesn't understand how popular Luka Doncic was? I think he's found out now the hard way.
I don't really understand why he did a press conference, Scott. To be honest.
What are you doing?
Like, was it going to go well? Like, in any way at all? Would it have gone well?
No.
I get it that, you have the end of season press conferences, etc., but there's ways of doing it, and I almost feel bad for him in a sense, Scott. I've never seen, I just saw the question asked to him, why shouldn't you be fired? which, some jackass kid asking him, why shouldn't you be fired? And the kid even said, nobody's asking for the media to be fired, but they're all asking for you to be fired. Now, he said, I shouldn't be judged by injuries, right? I shouldn't be judged by injuries, but Scott, they mismanaged this whole thing. We can rehash the deal. We know all about it. We know what went down. But let's be real as well as far as the new ownership group there, right? I mean, do you think the GM is just trading Luka Doncic without the owners being on board and wanting it as well? They're going to have a chance to redeem themselves somehow if they can, have a great offseason. He said he should. Well, they're going to have money to spend, but players aren't going to want to be involved because they know that it's just sort of there's a circus atmosphere going on there. And listen, Harrison was right when he said he shouldn't be judged, that the team can't be fully judged or the trade can't be judged because of injuries. But the problem is, AD's always going to be injured.
Everyone has injuries. Every team has injuries. Tatum went down yesterday. It never ends.
Well, the real crime,
injuries.
The real crime was they should have gotten Austin Reeves in that deal as well, right? Or listen, like I said, we can go over the Luka stuff. I mean, it's old news, but if you're going to trade him, I would have traded him in the offseason, Scott. I would have traded him in the offseason. Like, if you really wanted to legitimately trade him, fine, trade him. But make sure you get, like, an insane haul back in return. That's the insane, that's the crazy thing about the whole deal. You know, Will, like I said, the owner is getting a free pass on this. It's not like the general managers don't have control to just trade people like star players without the owners being on board. But the Mavericks are a mess, bro. And they're going to be a mess for years right now because of their new ownership group.
So you watch the Lakers get whacked. Basically, the Bucks got whacked. The Pistons got whacked. The Grizzlies got really whacked. Orlando got whacked. Miami got whacked. Houston got whacked. There was one good game, the Clipper game. You and I were right about the Clippers, the 2.5. The rest of those NBA games stunk, and that's all there is to it. And Luka, I thought, played great, but LeBron was invisible, and so was the rest of the Lakers, as the T-Wolves did whatever they wanted to him.
Yeah, the T-Wolves, that was a very impressive performance by the Minnesota Timberwolves on Saturday night. The Lakers were exposed inside. You know, their defensive flaws were exposed as well. That's going to be a long series, Scott, though. I would expect that series to end up going 7 games when it's all said and done. But it was a very anticlimactic playoff weekend, right? And I don't want to sound, like, in my day, in the old days, but we talked about it in the NCAA tournament. There used to be a bunch of games on at once, not spread out as much as it is. Dude, there was like one game at a time. It was like, did the playoffs start? I don't know. You got stuck with one boring game at a time, Scott, this weekend.
You're right.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Just one crap game, one boring game. Dude, yesterday, you had NHL playoffs going on, and you had the NBA playoffs going on. Scott, I legitimately, and I know I bet on this stuff, and I watch it more than most people do, but I was watching a DC Defender game. It was close. Like, it was, you know what I mean? It came down to the final play of the game. I had big money on the other stuff, Scott. Like, I had big money on games. Like, the Devils Canes game was yawn. It felt like a regular season game. I was like, I don't know, is this even a playoff game?
That series is over already.
It's just anticlimactic. You know what I mean? It was just, I tweeted it out yesterday. I said, man, it feels like the playoffs start today, Scott. The Canadians and Capitals will have some vibe. The Kings will have some vibe tonight. We're already into game 2s right now. And how about the joke, too, Scott, of the Lakers playing on Saturday, and they're not even playing today. So, you know what I mean? It's like, they're not the champs, right?
They need a vacation. They need some time off to rest and go in the cold tub.
But it's always been this way. Like, LeBron plays 2 games a week. Everybody else plays every 48 hours. And, bro, he's not the king anymore. They're not. The Lakers aren't the champs. They're not you know what I mean? Oh, we need to stretch out their series.
They get treated like they are.
I know. It's ridiculous. It's literally it's ridiculous. Look at Scott. Look at the Clippers. The Clippers are on the road in Denver playing in altitude. They got to go in the 48-hour run. The Lakers are at home and get the extra day. It's the same crap. Like, what a coincidence that Tampa and Florida, right, that get the when are they starting, Scott? I think the Miami Dolphins training camp opens the same day that they start that playoff series.
I mean, it's embarrassing.
The NFL draft, Scott's going to start before they do.
It is. And I got to tell you, I thought the Leafs game was just as bad. It was worse.
It was good for the Leafs, right? It was a strong statement for the Leafs.
It was good for us watching, and it was boring.
Certain teams, they scored so many times, Scott, the song Panama stuck in my head right now. That's their new goal song.
I know, they were playing that every time.
Panama. It was over and over. I was walking around after the game last night. I was walking around. I was like freaking Leafs.
Looking for an edge in betting basketball? Injuries can make or break a game. Get insider knowledge from Dr. David Chow and the team of experts with Sick Picks at Sports Injury Central. We reveal hidden health-based advantages the sports books miss. Our doctors provide insights, and our algorithm tells you who to bet on. Spreads, props, totals, in-game bets, Sick Picks covers it all. Go to sickscore.com and sign up for Sick Picks, and use the promo code SportsGrid for a free week today.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What?
How do you do this one?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
They're so close that we're barely going to be getting any value on the plus side of things. I think there's a little bit of value on the Blue Jays today, but it's an awesome division. Like, I don't want to see teams running away and be up by 12 games in first place. We want to see teams constantly battling for first place.
They hit a team total. I love that. So as many times as we get bad beats, you do get the same amount of good beats typically in your direction if you wait long enough.
Pro Baseball today, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high, but the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that rhythm. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple 15.5 point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
You know, I really appreciate, Gabe, that you and Mike both, and because you might have me as the grumpy guy on the porch. Like, I honestly, I thought it was so bunk. Like, I'm a cool dude. I'm 60, but I'm a cool dude. I'm not that grouchy old grandpa dude complaining all the time. Straight up, I am like, these games suck, and I'm watching.
No, they legitimately angered me.
Bro,
I was revolted watching.
And then you can admit it to me is beautiful. Carver High said the same thing. It's like all the games stunk. And then you said you were watching this chick on ESPN saying how exciting it was. You must be tripping, B.
They opened up.
B.
They opened up NBA Live, NBA Today, whatever it's called. And Malika Andrews, who I think is unfairly picked on, actually.
What world is she living in?
But it's like she's a politician. Like, you know what I mean? Like, she got a smile. And an exciting, great weekend of NBA basketball. I'm like,
who is she?
What was so great? Watching people throw air balls, watching teams go three. And, I'm like you, Scott. Like, I'm not like trying to hate on this stuff. It actually has bothered me when people blanket stuff with the NBA. They don't care this and that. It's not true. Right. And, there's a lot of stuff. Like, the NHL has a lot of problems, too, that people don't, the same things that the NBA does. But the product does suck. The product does suck. I'm just going to call it out for what it is. I can't lie. The product sucks. And, Scott, I was thinking about it. I was watching, like, the NBA, and I was like, dude, like, the college was better than this.
Way better. And it stunk,
I'd rather watch Houston
year.
And Duke play.
It was horrible. Let's face facts. This year's NCAA tournament was boring. There was about 5 good games in the whole thing. That's it.
Yeah, but at least there were good teams. Like, Scott, you watch the NBA, bro. Like, the Memphis Grizzlies, bro, they quit in the second quarter. Like, they were walking up the floor in the second quarter. And also,
they were down 51
It's the style.
points.
It's also the games themselves, the style of basketball, man. It just is. Like, bro, all they do is pass around. They all stand. Like, every team I'm watching,
that's it.
I don't see any pick and rolls. The Nuggets are the only ones. The Nuggets and Clippers play basketball, right? Harden will go into the paint, pass it to Zubac, pick and rolls, screens, cuts, you know what I mean? Picks. They play basketball. The Nuggets play basketball. All these other teams, God, I'm watching them, and they don't shoot the three well. That's what's crazy. Houston shoot the three poorly, so what do? 5 guys standing around the line, all shooting threes. Memphis shooting threes, air ball, one after another. It's like, it's not basketball. They just sort of like, they stand around, they pass it around the top.
That's right.
It's not entertaining. It's a bad product. It's not basketball.
So let me ask you. You're right. There's nothing else to say. Let me ask you then. Now, God Almighty, it's got to be something has to happen tonight. You got 2 Pistons and Knicks. You got Clips and Denver, which I anticipate being really good again. The spread is 1. Clippers are favored. And you got the 4 hockey games. I have to admit, I really never felt one time the entire weekend, I never once felt that I was watching the actual Stanley Cup playoffs. I thought I was just watching a sold-out hockey game. I never felt like anyone was violent, hitting, fighting.
The Blues and Jets was the only one. That was the only one where the Blues said at the end, they were like, all right, we're going to lose. Let's fight. They took the 1970s playbook, old school hockey. We're losing the game. We have no reason to do this otherwise, other than we lost and we want to punch them in the face on the way out just to let them know, hey, you won, but we're going to see you on Monday, right? It was one of those type of deals. Little bit of passion, Scott. Like they were running each other. The game got chippy and dirty. Like you said, bro, like the Leafs and Sens were skating around like it was a regular season game. Like the Sens didn't show up.
Who do you like tonight?
I think the Jets get it done again tonight in a close one. Give me the Montreal Canadiens to steal game 1. This is going to feel like a playoff series, the Canadiens and the Capitals. Canadiens are live to me, guys, at plus 160 tonight. I also like the Canadiens plus 1.5. Like if they lose, I could see it being, I don't know if we're going to get overtime, but a 1-goal game here. Give me the Canadiens plus 1.5. If I think the Kings are going to beat, and listen, teams that win game 1 of the NHL playoff series, Scott, win 68% of the time. It does matter. If the Kings are going to win this series against the Oilers, they win tonight. Give me the LA
Clippers
Kings minus 130.
Clippers again tonight, and who do you like in the Knick game?
You know what? I'm going to take the Pistons tonight. They hung around, man, and they, like you said, they went on that incredible run in the fourth quarter. I think the Pistons hang around tonight.
All right, let's hope the games are better tonight. Have a great show, Morency. Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, Scott.
They're so close that we're barely going to be getting any value on the plus side of things. I think there's a little bit of value on the Blue Jays today, but it's an awesome division. Like, I don't want to see teams running away and be up by 12 games in first place. We want to see teams constantly battling for first place.
They hit a team total. I love that. So as many times as we get bad beats, you do get the same amount of good beats, typically in your direction, if you wait long enough.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
You're talking about going into next year, your 4th coach in 4 years. And if you think about it, they were 2-0 NBA Finals, and literally the whole organization just fell off.
I don't really understand what the plan is, right? Like, okay, you fire Budenholzer. What is the plan? Who do you think you're bringing in? What do you think is going to change? We all know the sort of dire financial situation they find themselves in as far as money spent.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
11 times now without a major, 14 times at the Masters. He finally has the green jacket. Rory McIlroy.
The best sporting event so far this year. It's better than the Super Bowl. It was better than the NCAA tournament. It had ups and downs. It had roller coaster rides. It had history, legacies. It had everything you could ever possibly want.
Ferrall, coast to coast, only on SportsGrid.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What?
How do you do this once?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
So Carver High is back with us, and like I said to Gabe, I'm just honestly, I'm just so actually happy that you both agree without hesitation of how bad these games were. Like I'm not going to sit on this network and suck up to these leagues and their crappy games. I'm just not going to do it. Or these umps, or these refs, or players, that are phonies like this Butler with what he did to Riley and his Heat teammates. I'm never changing who I am or my opinions. The fact that you and I came on this show at the top of the hour on a Monday and all we did was bash these games on both leagues, NBA and NHL, they were terrible games. Terrible games. And I'm sitting here watching these games. And Gabe brought up the best point. One after the next, they air them. They're never on at the same time like they used to be. You remember on opening night of the Stanley Cup playoffs, there'd always be 8 games going. And instead now it's one at a time, and you have to suffer through bad games. And the fact that you said it, I said it, and he said it, that we all agreed that they were terrible games. And then you got these phony people on TV talking about how exciting it is and how great it is. And these matchups, it was a lobotomy. Those games were so bad. There was only one good game, the Clipper game. That was it. None of those games were good. None of them.
None of the games were good. And the good thing is I think it hurt the, NHL starting on a weekend. I mean, it sounds good in theory, but I think what we love about it in the first round is the aspect of there's a bunch of games on every night, and you could, if you do catch a bad one, you could flip to another game. So maybe starting tonight, where you have 2 early games and 2 late games, we could start to get into that flow with the hockey a little bit more of multiple games being on at night. I've screamed about the NBA as a product, like Gabe says, as a product, it's hard to watch. I mean, even in the playoffs, 3 out of every 4 games are maybe even a bigger segment are unwatchable. Their fourth quarters just don't mean anything. They're blowouts.
And I got to be honest with you, these announcers trying to sell it like it's awesome. When I'm watching the game, don't get me started. You know what I'm capable of on that X. I'll just start coming out with the foul language on my private one. And but I didn't do any of that really this weekend. But I could have, and I should have. And I just start but I did the umps in that Yankee game. It was the worst thing I'd ever seen. But it's simple. When I'm listening and watching, and I'm listening to these play-by-play guys acting like I'm watching the greatest game ever in the history of the league. I mean, what bullshit are they feeding us? Acting like these games are good and selling it like they're good. And I get it. They have to keep the audience. Everyone always tells me that on X. All you geniuses. Oh, they have to keep the audience, don't they? There is no audience when the game sucks. I get out of there like the thing was on fire. I told you I was watching Dope Thief, episode 6, 7, 8. I was like, I can't even take it. And look, I like watching golf on Sunday when there's money on the table. Fair enough. But I'm not sitting there Saturday watching 18 holes of golf. It's not happening. I told you that. You got to be drunk or in a clubhouse in the 19th hole at a golf course playing golf. And when you're done golfing, you sit in there and drink with your boys and watch golf. That's when I watch. I watch on Sunday, like in that playoff. That was awesome. I watch Rory at the Masters. But I'm not sitting there watching that on Friday and Saturday and everything. I'm trying to watch playoff games, and they all suck. Come on. Who are you kidding? They were terrible.
Gotta have some good games. Gotta have some good games. And look, maybe
it's bound to get better. It can't be any worse.
Can't be any worse. And I think the good thing is that tonight you've got the 4 NHL games, so you've got 2 doubleheaders, and then the NBA. You have the one game that was great over the weekend. Game 2 of the Nuggets and Clippers is tonight, and Knicks Pistons, which other than the Knicks obviously needed a 21-0 run to be able to get themselves that game in the fourth quarter.
They should have lost that game. They were down 10, and then they had the 21-0 run. So I think that game actually tonight could get violent.
It could get violent tonight. Let's go through a bunch of these things. Yes, the games were great. Let me go through a few of them. Warriors beat the Rockets 95-85. They now lead this series 1-0. Steph Curry, 31 points on 5 threes. He had 6 boards. He had 3 dimes. I mean, this guy was hitting them from everywhere on TNT.
Curry's got it. He and Butler, as I said, 18 apiece. He'll dance. He'll throw up a shot. Oh, my goodness.
Are you kidding me?
Geometrically, that should not have happened. Wow.
Wow. Wow. Look. Oh, my God. Whatever. When don't we see this guy hitting threes? That's all he does.
Geometrically impossible. He did have a big night, Steph. He was very good. 30, like I said, the 31 points. He was getting involved.
Doesn't he have 31 points and hit 6 threes? That's
Butler
when there's a story if he doesn't do it.
Butler had 25 as well for the Warriors as they got involved. We mentioned the Rockets' misfortunes earlier. They need more out of a lot of these guys. Green, Van Vliet, Thompson. Really, Şengün's the only one on the Rockets who, and when Şengün was out of the game is when they had problems. They just couldn't get anything going when Şengün wasn't out there. He was the only guy doing anything. I'm sure you at least like the first 2 minutes of the game when he stuffed one on Draymond Green's face to start the game.
I like that.
But you got to win. You got to win. I guess just so you lose. You know, if you could have a good
They're
highlight
already
like that, but
dead.
you lose.
Put a knife in them. They're dead. They just got they shanked. Shawshank.
Here's Kerr talking about Curry in game number 1.
What do you think about the way that Steph handled Houston's defense? Missed his first 3 shots. What got him going?
He was incredible, and
he was incredible.
You know,
he's a great recruiter.
Type of pressure on him from Thompson and others. He just made some amazing plays, and obviously carried us offensively along with Jimmy.
Yeah.
Congratulations. That was Steve Kerr's 100th playoff win as a head coach. He tied Larry Brown for 6th all time with that victory. 100 wins for Steve Kerr.
At least he acknowledges the fact that it's the players that he has on that team that those owners, Lacob and company, have paid for over the years that won him. Like, you know, when you got Clay and Durant and Curry and Green in their ultimate prime, it's no different. Don't get me started on Phil Jackson and the Bulls or Phil Jackson and the Lakers. I mean, it's one thing, you know, what to me, even, you know, Popovich, look at the guys that he had. You know, they get all this credit. I've always said it's the players. It's the players that win these titles. They give these coaches all this credit. This guy has been wrapped like salami around greatness his entire career, playing and coaching, and they treat him like he's John Wooden. Honestly, let me explain this. Bob Knight won 3 national titles with nothing, with a bunch of white guys and like 2 black guys. I mean, none of them mattered in the NBA except Isaiah Thomas. Right? Like, don't get me started. Kent Benson, Scott May, they all sucked in the NBA. The only player that ever made it was Isaiah Thomas that became something. Is that right? He won with nothing. These guys win. I mean, Jesus Christ, Wooden, what did he have? Lou Alcindor. Don't get me started. This guy, Phil Jackson, Steve Kerr, Popovich, they're like salami. They've been wrapped around so many superstars. David Robinson, Tim Duncan. Don't get me started. I'm going to have another heart attack. Mafia, get the tequila in my pelts.
They're so close that we're barely going to be getting any value on the plus side of things. I think there's a little bit of value on the Blue Jays today, but it's an awesome division. Like, I don't want to see teams running away and be up by 12 games in first place. We want to see teams constantly battling for first place.
They hit a team total. I love that. So as many times as we get bad beats, you do get the same amount of good beats typically in your direction if you wait long enough.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
You're talking about going into next year, your fourth coach in 4 years. And if you think about it, they were 2-0 NBA Finals, and literally the whole organization just fell off.
I don't really understand what the plan is, right? Like, okay, you fire Budenholzer. What is the plan? Who do you think you're bringing in? What do you think is going to change? We all know the sort of dire financial situation they find themselves in as far as money spent.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
11 times now without a major, 14 times at the Masters. He finally has the green jacket. Rory McIlroy.
The best sporting event so far this year. It's better than the Super Bowl. It was better than the NCAA tournament. It had ups and downs. It had roller coaster rides. It had history, legacies. It had everything you could ever possibly want.
Ferrall Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What?
How do you do this once?
Oh, Donnie, you've got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
I will give you this. I was enamored watching Ty Jerome go off. I mean, that white boy went off in that fourth quarter. He hit every shot he took except one. I think he missed one shot. And I thought he was unbelievable. It was surreal watching him have a big game. I don't think anyone saw that coming.
Nobody saw that coming. He had 28, as you mentioned, 16 of those in the fourth quarter. That was the third most points by a Cav in their playoff debut. Ty Jerome getting involved on TNT.
Boy, this thing has been intense right from the start. First ever playoff meeting between these two franchises. Jerome, he connects on another three-point jack.
I mean, it was one after the next. He made shots from all over the place, and some of them were deep. He played great. I thought Mitchell played great. He had 30. And that was that. They blew him out, and that place was on its ear for sure. And I think, in particular, for Jerome.
Yeah, there really wasn't much resistance here, and I'm not sure how much there's going to be in a lot of these series in the NBA in the first round, like between the Cavs and the Celtics and the Thunder. Like, I guess we should, because those were the three best teams this year, right? Those were the three best teams in the league, and it kind of looks like they all have, let's just call it for what it is, they have buys in the first round. I mean, that's kind of what it looks like after watching those games really all yesterday. All three of them played yesterday, all three of them with big wins. The Celtics, 103-86 over the Magic. The Celtics were actually, they were down at the half, right? They were down a couple of points.
Down by one.
Down by one at half, but then they blew them away. A 30-18 third quarter, 25-19 fourth quarter. Derek White was the one getting involved. He had 7 threes on his way to a 30-piece on ABC.
More and more players coming to play next to that young man. Derek White drills another three, his 7th of the game.
Honest to Christ, could they get Breen to do the Knick game or something? Why is he always doing Celtic games?
Well, he's got to, with the Knicks in the playoffs, he's got to split his time. You know, now he actually did the ESPN because the Knicks were on Saturday. You know, you could do local on the first round only. So I don't know if he's going to be able to squeeze in a couple of MSG ones along the way. I don't know who has the games tonight. If TNT have the games tonight, which I think they do, Breen would probably do game 2 on MSG for the Knicks at the Garden. But he's, you know, that's his big gig. I mean, They're both on TNT, so Breen should be doing the game on MSG tonight if you want to listen to him do the Knicks. But he's the main guy for ESPN ABC. He's got to do all the big games. So he did 2 games this weekend. Did the Knicks game and the Celtics.
I hate the Celtics so much. Listening to that, it was I might as well have had a butter knife in my chest.
Well, here's Derek White. He says, it was me today. It could easily be somebody else next game. We've got a lot of firepower.
I mean, I wish every night I'd be the guy and drop 30. That'd be pretty cool. But just trying to read the game and see where I can put my stamp on the game, I guess. So I think every game's different. So next game it might be anybody else on our team. So just don't go to the game expecting to get 18 shots or get 2 shots. So just be ready for whatever. And
yeah, what that meant in Portuguese was Tatum and Brown did nothing, and he did it all. And Porzingis didn't do anything either. It was all him. And, I mean, Pritchard played better than those other guys. That guy, White, can flat out shoot the pill from deep. And he's a baller. There's just no getting around. I'll tell you the other guy that makes a difference every time he plays, literally every time. If there's a playoff game, a big game, Holiday is just unbelievable. I mean, he's stealing balls, making stops, hitting threes, doing everything. This guy Holiday, I will never understand for the life of me, how drunk did they have to be in Milwaukee to get rid of him? I mean, honestly, it's as bad as the Luka trade. How do you get rid of a guy that is the glue of your championship team? For what reason? I mean, it had to be money or whatever. I don't even care. There's no such thing as money problems in the NBA. All these teams are so drowning in money, it's not even funny. And you get rid of that guy? Well, I hope you're enjoying watching him win rings, because you're not winning them anymore.
And that, you could trace all of their problems back to when they let that guy go. That's when all their problems started. So
Without
as much as they, I'll be honest, that, and they want it, look flashy, Dame time. It hasn't been the same since the guy that helped you win a title.
How about this
went
guy
out the
Dame
door for
time
that
talking Shaq on the sideline in
I'll
his
see you
sweater?
Tuesday. I'll see you Tuesday. He's pointing at the guy. I'll see you Tuesday.
What a male organ of the month club move that is. You're talking Shaq in your Versace sweater. I mean, honestly, bro.
I
is
guess
there anything
that
worse than a guy that talks smack that isn't even playing?
That sweater was awful too. Now look, that sweater probably cost more than my entire award. Probably like a $10,000 sweater the guy's wearing on there. But it looks so bad, that sweater that he had on. Sit down.
I like Christmas sweaters better than that one. The ones that people wear to the party that they do it as a joke.
Yeah,
with reindeer on it.
It's too much. Here was the biggest beatdown. We had a lot of beatdowns. Thunder beat the Grizzlies by 51.
Oh my
131.
God.
How about this? They beat them by 50. And what SGA have? His worst game of the year? He had 15 points. It was like his worst game of the year. And they still won by 51. Guy did nothing. Obviously, Williams had 20. Wiggins had 21 off the bench. Holmgren had 19.
The best thing was Josh's shoes.
Well, there they are. I mean, we got them real fast. I mean, look at that.
Can we look at them real
Put
quick?
the new shoes out. There they are.
Oh,
Josh's new
my
kicks.
God. Look at those. Where do I get my hands on those? I haven't even broke in the twos yet, and the threes are out. Look at those. He wore them in the game. They didn't do him any good, but he looked fantastic.
And he did say afterwards, we can't play worse than we did today. Well, he's right about that. They can't play. He lost by 51. So I mean, he can't.
Yep, that
can't
was
play
the
worse.
worst game I've ever seen in my life.
Cleaned him out. Completely cleaned him out in that game. And they're going to probably do that in 4 games.
How do you recover from that? You don't.
They're so close that we're barely going to be getting any value on the plus side of things. I think there's a little bit of value on the Blue Jays today, but it's an awesome division. Like, I don't want to see teams running away and be up by 12 games in first place. We want to see teams constantly battling for first place.
They hit a team total. I love that. So as many times as we get bad beats, you do get the same amount of good beats, typically in your direction, if you wait long enough.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
You're talking about going into next year, your fourth coach in 4 years. And if you think about it, they were 2-0 NBA Finals, and literally the whole organization just fell off.
I don't really understand what the plan is, right? Like, okay, you fire Budenholzer. What is the plan? Who do you think you're bringing in? What do you think is going to change? We all know the sort of dire financial situation they find themselves in as far as money spent.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
11 times now without a major, 14 times at the Masters. He finally has the green jacket. Rory McIlroy.
The best sporting event so far this year. It's better than the Super Bowl. It was better than the NCAA tournament. It had ups and downs. It had roller coaster rides. It had history, legacies. It had everything you could ever possibly want.
Ferrall Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What?
How do you do this one?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
All right, so let's go to the Indy game. We didn't even mention that one. That was another stinker.
Well, it certainly was. What's there to mention? Indiana in the first game of the weekend beat the Bucks 117-98. They got 25 from Siakam. He had a big night. Halliburton did nothing. He had 10 points. He was 0 for 7 from 3. Turner had 19. I mean, it was kind of ho-hum. The problem is, like it was for the Bucks all year, Giannis had 36, and they got nothing from anybody else.
Nobody else
on the
does
Bucks did
jack.
anything. It's all right, though. They got Dame Time maybe coming back tomorrow night for game number 2 after he was pointing at the guy in his sweater on Saturday. So you'll probably get him in the mix. The Pacers are big favorites now for this series, by the way. It's been pumped up to minus 280 now. There it is, minus 280 for the Pacers. If you think the Bucks can come back now that Dame Time's coming back, plus 230. I don't think it matters.
Pacers will win the series. I think the Bucks will win games in Milwaukee.
Right. I mean, they'll probably get a couple. It was 6 games, maybe. I think they'll win a couple at some point. But I don't see how the Pacers are going to lose it. The T-Wolves beat up the Lakers on Saturday night, 117-95. They hit 21 threes in the game. They were absolutely lights out. They got 6 threes from Naz Reid, 4 threes from Edwards, 4 threes from Randall, 3 threes from McDaniels. He had 25. Connolly had a couple threes. I mean, they were dropping threes from everywhere. But like you mentioned earlier in the open, they didn't just hit all those threes. They were smashing dunks on the inside as well. They beat the Lakers pillar to post. Pillar to post, they beat them up on Saturday night.
Yeah, so remember, McDaniels was their leading scorer, and he only had 3 threes. Everything else was mid-range and dunks. He did whatever he wanted, and I thought they looked fantastic. And remember, we said on this show last week that they would win that series. Now, look, I think the Lakers are very capable with Luka and LeBron, but it can't just be Luka. And I even said on this show, and no one wants to hear it, but I'm telling you, like this guy Reeves, he becomes real white when he's in the playoffs and dudes are all over him. He becomes real white then. Like honestly, like I said to someone when I was balling before the game in the morning, I was playing Saturday, and I went, oh, they're going to take him right out of that. He's not going to matter in this series. All them brothers aren't going to have that hillbilly Mamba nonsense. It's not happening. He's not taking on these monsters on that team. He can't light any of those dudes up. Like, at one point, they had, like, Gobert on him. They wouldn't even let him get a shot off. And he was bricking. And I'm telling you, now, I know he can score. I know he's good. But I think he's, there's a difference to me in a regular season game where they let him have all this space and do whatever he wants because no one gives a rat's ass and they're not trying. They're getting paid to go through the motions. And it's an entirely different thing when they're in the playoffs. And I guarantee you going into that game, their plan was, all right, let's shut his valve right off. This dude, he ain't killing us. They took LeBron and Reeves right out of that game.
Yeah, they kind of just let Luka do whatever he wanted, right?
That's right.
Luka had a big night, but they shut everybody else down. And that's what it is. Now, the Timberwolves are favored to win the series now because they won game one. They're minus 134. Lakers now plus minus 138. Lakers plus $1.18. They will play game 2 in Los Angeles tomorrow night, late night at the Crypto.
That's a must win for the Lakers or they're dead.
Oh, huge. Oh, no doubt. I don't see them coming back winning 4 out of 5 with 3 games in Minnesota.
Yeah, I don't even see him. I don't even see him being able to win the game.
Yeah, they would be in enormous trouble if they can't get out of their home floor tomorrow night.
Let's be specific here. Let's get real. There's no one on that team that can stop Anthony Edwards from doing whatever he wants. I'm surprised that we didn't see him having sex with all the Laker cheerleaders in the middle of the game, like at halftime or something, because he did everything else he wanted. You know what I mean? He's had like 40 babies. Why not go sleep with all the Laker cheerleaders and the Laker dance girls? I mean, he could have. He did everything else he wanted to in the game. If I were him, I would have done that. I would have been like getting numbers. I'm not even kidding.
Probably frowned upon for him.
It's frowned upon, especially on this day of harassment and orientation.
It's frowned upon to do that. We'll come back. We have 2 games tonight. Pistons Knicks at the Garden and Clippers Nuggets, which was the best game of the weekend on Saturday, that overtime game.
Fantasy baseball. Let's be honest, George. There's a lot of things antiquated about this game that we love. Man, I would love to try some new little wrinkles here. And so for Sam's question here on the show, I think it's at least fair to ask the question with catchers in fantasy baseball. And sometimes we're playing in 2 catcher leagues. Why at this stage of the game? I have no idea. If you're still doing it, you're behind in the times. Buy or sell, catchers should get a fantasy point for throwing out runners trying to steal. So essentially awarding a defensive play to get an offensive point in fantasy. You gonna buy or sell this?
I mean, so this never even crossed my mind. I hate the catcher position because they get hurt so much. You play in a 2 catcher league, I don't know what to tell you. It's like, what are we doing here? There are not 24, assuming a 12-team league, there are not 24 catchers to draft in baseball. There's just not. Although I'm the first person to tell you, Herrera's probably out there in a bunch of leagues there because we didn't see that power coming. Should he get a point? I think if you're going to do this, by the way, why a point? What are you throwing out? 1, 2 base runners a week? It's 2 points. Who cares? Should it be more? I mean, if we're going to do this, should we do it right? Should it be 5 points? So I'd probably go that direction. If you're going to do it right. Give it more points. And by the way, then let's go further. You make an error, you're losing points. No one gets an error anymore. All right. If you get an error, it means you really screwed up. I was watching that Yankee-Pittsburgh game yesterday because I think it was who cares? Somebody hit the ball hard to Isaiah Khalifa at shortstop. He didn't have to move, but he dropped it. They called it a hit because he hit the ball hard with 3 hopper. Oh, hard hit, error. So let's do that too. So yeah, I'm kind of on board with this, but you need more than 1. It can't just be a point that's meaningless. You need more than 1.
Fantasy Sports Today. Weekends starting at 8 a.m. Only on SportsGrid.